Ер нь би бод миний түүх гэдэг юм аа миний одоо амьдралын одоо хувь заяа энэ байгаль дэлхий дотор ингээд
A Rally for Rangers. I mean, this documentary is all about the park rangers who are battling in the conservation of our national parks. And what a lot of people don't realize is that it's a dangerous job in some places in the world. 120 rangers lost their lives just last year surveying these national parks. And this is all about their story. There's this immense sense of pride in with these men and how they are affected when affected just by the task of protecting this area and how they have committed themselves to it. I mean, you have this area, such a rich ecosystem, so many various species. I love how close you're able to get to the animals in this documentary, just to give us a real sense of what the environment is that they're dealing with. And a lot of these men, they believe this work is their fate. And then you have this community of people who want to get bikes to these rangers because they see that these rangers are a few number compared to some of the parks in, you know, the United States, for example. Poachers are rampant, and you have, you know, less than 20 men basically surveying all this land. Most of them are on foot or on horseback. They're in all these crazy conditions. And it just kind of inspired them to say, you know, what if we got them some bikes? They would be able to make their jobs a lot easier. So then it became, let's get the bikes to these distinct places. And that's kind of how this whole charity was born. And it's making a huge impact. It's allowing them to achieve more within their day-to-day. It ups the effectiveness of the park when you really get to see these men kind of struggling through the wilderness and in the snow. It's just like, wow, this is really how they're living it. It's days upon days of surveying an area to get through it all, and anything that's going to make it easier for them to do that, especially as passionate as they are about it. You know, for them, they want to be effective because it's important to them. And I mean, the conditions that they face is insane. There's so much illegal poaching happening in these parks and illegal logging, and it's all about protecting these resources. And these men have this great emotional connection to the land and the animals in it. The emotion that you saw from one of the men when he realized that, you know, going away to training and not being able to survey his part of the land, a lot of people that he knew personally went in and poached because they knew he was absent, and it's just how he felt like he was in needed to confront every one of them, and just these men have a connection. And I love that, knowing that there are some people out there that are so connected to the earth in that way that they want to protect it. And, you know, you don't think about rangers. We don't think about that, you know? And so I think that this documentary was just a great way for us to rally and think about, you know, something that maybe isn't talked about enough, but is extremely important to the world. And I just, you know, want to see more things from this. I just want it to become even easier for them, because anyone that is that impassioned about what they do is just blessed.
This is about a rally for rangers. Really nice opening and introduction. I felt like right away I knew what this was about. Didn't have to question it. Really guided along the way, which was great. I felt like any words that popped up on the screen in the beginning were up for a good enough time that I could actually read them without feeling like I'd had to hurry through them because they weren't up long enough. So great job on that. Just beautiful shots of this beautiful, gosh, awe-inspiring landscape. I mean, just this gorgeous country and just territory and terrain that you guys captured so well and beautifully. The cinematography, the drone shots, just everything about the production value was so good. Especially the shots with the horses and the horses running through the field. Just really loved it. Good music, very interesting music, appropriate for the people and, you know, the culture. Love the shots of the animals, especially the snow leopard. I really thought that was cool. just top-notch production value for sure, and cinematography and camera work. Really loved the rainbow. There was a shot where there was a rainbow to the left. Really liked that a lot. I like the animation that was used to help describe what was going on in the stories. Just gorgeous territory, and just amazing how these rangers go out into these dangerous weather conditions with no gloves on. Like, I'm just sitting there watching these guys in the snow. You know, finally they would be around a fire, but a lot of the times they weren't, and they had no gloves on, and I'm sure their coats were pretty warm with I'm sure there was fur inside of them or something, but they didn't look that hefty or thick. So I was just really like, oh my gosh, these guys could just die from being out there in the weather with limited protection. Just very, inspiring to watch these guys go out and being impassioned for their animals, their country, and just trying to save it and protect it the best that they can. And how these motorcycles, these bikes, really help them. And yeah, I was thinking, what about the air pollution? But honestly, I think that was like the little bit of negativity and such a huge positive thing that these people were doing. And these bike riders in the one territory they were in, they were riding to, give these bikes away. That was very dangerous territory as well. Any one of them could have lost their lives in a heartbeat. I would never have done that. There's just so many areas they could have just gone right off the cliff with one rock being hit, their wheel being, hitting a rock and going off, and the mud, just all of it was just crazy. So God bless these people doing this for these rangers. I just thought it was a really inspiring, really cool documentary. It really enlightened me and showed me a world I didn't even know existed. So great job.
This film is called A Rally for Rangers. This was an inspiring short. I learned so much from it. A group of bikers take part in an organization called Rally for Rangers. They ride to various parts of the world to donate motorcycles to rangers who protect areas from poachers. The most impressive thing for me about the film is the incredible footage of the riders making these treks. The vistas of the areas where they biked were incredibly beautiful. It was fascinating hearing from the rangers and how appreciative they were for these bikes to help them do their jobs more quickly and efficiently. There's also gorgeous camera work of the wildlife in need of protection, like wildcats, birds, and monkeys. The moving soundtrack was so beautiful and uplifting, too. I was saddened to hear about the many rangers and how they've lost their lives while working. I was also amazed by the quality of the animation of the frightening encounters with poachers and the courage of the rangers. May this wonderful organization continue to thrive. Excellent film.
A Rally for Rangers was a very important documentary. I really loved how you could see how much it meant to each of those rangers when they were gifted those bikes. And I especially loved learning more about each of the different rangers from different parts of the world. Like, I originally thought it was just going to be the one group in Mongolia, but then, we jumped, I believe, to Argentina, and then we jumped to Zimbabwe. Like, we jumped around to so many different places, and we learned more about what it's like being a ranger. And unfortunately for some of them, they're very unmanned. Like, they do not have a lot of staff, and it's also a dangerous job because they have to deal with wild animals, but also poachers, who some are very dangerous. And also, you also have to deal with the elements and the weather. This was a very insightful look into it, and I definitely think the message needs to be spread, because as the documentary showed, like, there's not a lot of support for rangers, and I think that needs to be addressed.
Just finished watching A Rally for Rangers. Wow, this whole film was so stunning. I mean, from the second it starts, it's just like one stunning shot after another stunning shot of just this breathtaking landscape of this country. It's just beautiful. Listening to a lot of the Rangers talk, it was so heartwarming to hear their dedication, and you know, and even to hear their spouses talk about things. This is really, it's a calling. And I think the cause, what they've started to do, how they came about purchasing these bikes, taking them out there and riding them out there to give to one of the Rangers is just amazing. What a fantastic idea. And it's not easy to get out there. I mean, some of the terrain is really dangerous. It's really hard. And there was that one gentleman who got into an accident because somebody was coming the other way without a headlight. And he's very fortunate that he didn't get more hurt. And thank God they could fix the bike too. So all of this was just, it was really heartwarming. It was so sad to listen to what's been happening to the wildlife over there with the poachers, and how a lot of these animals are slowly becoming extinct. This film gives me hope. It gives me hope that in humanity, what I'm seeing happen, and it gives me hope for the wildlife in these forests, that they'll be preserved. So fantastic job.
A Rally to Rangers. This documentary is an excellent telling of the crisis of poaching in our national parks. It's a global crisis. There's so many emotional highs and lows. They let you see how dangerous the terrain is, and as well as the criminal poaching individuals and the risk that's posed to these rangers that are on horseback. It's actually shocking to hear how many hundreds of acres and thousands of acres of land that individuals are having to supervise and put their life on the line. This remarkable group of the Rally to Rangers people are the ones that supply these motorbikes to the horse riding rangers, and they're overcome with joy, and there's tears in their eyes. You can't help but just want to jump on board and support this. It's so inspiring, and the cinematography is fabulous. I can't say how much more I enjoy this. It's fantastic.
I didn't know Rally for Rangers was a thing. This is a very educational and inspiring film to watch, to show that it can become a global effort so that they can conserve national parks in every country, especially in places that are remote like Mongolia, where it's harder to see them. This had beautiful cinematography in it to really get to the point. You could feel these guys' emotions as they raised money to get what they needed to buy these motorcycles for rangers, which will go a lot faster than a horse. You can really feel the power behind this movement, this rallying for rangers. Typically when people think of motorcyclists, they think of them as kind of tough and not caring, and documentaries like this prove that's not true, that they care just as much as everybody else, and that through their efforts they can do things that are amazing, like raise money to get motorcycles for rangers. It's something that we definitely need to share with the world so that everybody continues to understand why conservation is important and what everybody can do to help. Even if it's something like getting a motorcycle for a ranger, or perhaps even sending food. It's just the emotional support that sometimes they need because they have such tough jobs.